Hey guys, welcome back to another video. In today's video I'm going to be reviewing and unboxing the slightly old Lenovo Ideapad 3 with a Ryzen 5 5500U. So a little bit of a backstory. I have been using this old 13-inch mid-2011 MacBook Air for the past year. The only reason I did that was because I was in middle school and it was just nicer to use this laptop. I have this up for sale on some local sites like Craigslist and Kijiji, but it was getting slow and it could not even load Google Earth, which I needed for a project. And the Chromebooks in the school, sadly enough, were faster than this. So my parents bought me this new Lenovo. I was gonna buy it for myself, but then they just shelled out the dough for it, which is really quite nice because this should theoretically be a really powerful laptop. So let's get to unboxing it. Okay, I think that just should slide out. Oh. Okay, so my tripod fell. So this is take 2 of trying to get my laptop out. Oh, that is massive. More stuff. Okay. I'm gonna have to do a lot of cutting, and this is gonna be weird. So, power adapter. Safety information, I think. Yeah. Styrofoam. Let's see if there's anything else. I don't think so. Oh, there was one thing. Yeah, so I got the Ideapad 3. This is a quick start guide. It's not very quick. A little bit. Step 1, plug it in. Step 2, plug the other thing in. Step 3, press power button. Then do some setup and yeah. Standard. Okay. The box did take a little bit of shipping damage, so I really hope that this didn't actually sustain any. I'm just gonna close this. Oh, that's so beautiful. No, I know this is aluminum and everything, but it's got a bunch of scratches and just wear. So I'm really excited for this. Oh, yeah. Okay, so you got your keyboard thing. This is a thank you card, I guess. First impressions. Keyboard's a little bit weird. I kind of thought it was going to have more travel. It's not that much, to be honest. But let me just adjust the camera. You got the like Lenovo shutter thing that they have on some newer ThinkPads. And I believe that this is a fingerprint sensor as well, this power button. So Let me get the power adapter. So it's kind of cheap looking. Doesn't do any of that fancy folding. It's just a Lenovo barrel jack, not the weird yellow connector, like square, or their USB-C, sadly. But I can take that, because I've been using this ratty old thing, which is actually not the original one that came with my MacBook. It's a 60 watt one for a MacBook Pro. Or it might be a 45 watt, actually. I don't know if you can read that. I think that says... Oh, it's a 60 watt, yeah. But the first one died pretty quickly. At least according to my parents. I was pretty young back then. But, yeah. I'm gonna plug this in. It's nice feeling cable and everything. Whoa, almost fell again. I don't want to retake this. It's got your, like, Velcro cable tie. Integrated, so it's, like, stuck to the thing. Wait, I can't show how long this is on camera, but I can assure you it's not that long. If you can see, it's kind of like, not that long, but it should be long enough for me. So, I will just plug this in down here. This is a bit of thread, okay. I'm just gonna route it from the front, very jank. Let's plug it in. Okay, power button. It's powering up. Oh, that's kind of metal feeling. This chassis is plastic. It's got a lot of deck flex. The screen's kind of wobbly, but yeah. Please remove. Yes, I'm trying. Boom. Oh yeah, and did I mention this is an IPS at 1080p with its touchscreen? So, trackpad feels nice. Keyboard, once again, feels slightly weird.
Hi there.
Oh.
I'm Cortana, and I'm here to help.
Yeah, okay, good. So, I'll set this up and give you another first impressions of, like, going into the operating system and stuff. And then I will be back in a couple of weeks, or a week, or however long it takes for me. So, see ya for now. I guess in like a second for you guys. Okay, so it's done now. Windows is up and running. So I thought it would be a good time to perhaps go over all the specs. So, as I said, it has a Ryzen 5 5500U. That was pretty much the deciding factor for me. It has 8 gigs of RAM, 256 gig SSD, I believe. It might be a 128, but it's paired with a 1 terabyte 5400 RPM hard drive. I'm not sure what I think about that. But anyway. So the RAM configuration is 4 gigabytes soldered to the board. So that's non-upgradable unless you really know how to do some micro soldering or whatever. And then 4 gigabytes is in a SODIMM slot. So theoretically you could upgrade this to 16 or to 20 gigs or to 12 gigs, which are kind of weird numbers that you don't typically see on desktops. You see them more often on laptops with these kind of weird configs, but I have no problem with that really. So trackpad seems okay. I don't think it's as good as the MacBook one, but I wasn't really expecting that. Finish isn't as good. Keyboard's clicky. Oh, let me show you. The keyboard is clickier than the MacBook one. Feels good. Yeah, but that could also just be because this MacBook has been used for 10 years. So I used it for a year of school, but we've been using it for different like online classes, games and stuff for many, many more years. So I got this on a promo, basically. It was back to school sale, and I got one of my mom's friend's son to use something called ID.me to verify that they're like a college student, so I could get more discounts. And then we used Rakuten to get this down to around $600 Canadian. And then my dad blew it and got the most expensive warranty for this thing. So it was basically 3 years of warranty, on-site warranty, which I don't even know if that works during COVID. But yeah, that's kind of weird. Let me just show you these. How do I zoom in? Okay. These are like shortcut keys, but there's a calculator one, and then I don't know what this is. It's like 3 squares. Oh, that's just showing you what apps you have open. That's like the loser way of alt tabbing, basically. But, okay. How do I zoom out? Okay, let me show you the screen. So, it's an IPS with a matte kind of coating, and it's touchscreen, but it's not convertible. This is just a standard clamshell, which has always confused me. What's the point of having the touchscreen if you're, like, not going to be able to use it as a tablet? Granted, this is a 15-inch laptop, and I don't really want to use a 15-inch tablet, but... Blower? No. You rudely interrupted me. Anyway. Yeah. Blower. Office, Alexa. No, that's Cortana. Something Lenovo, Edge, all that stuff. I still got to set this thing up. I don't really... Oh. I feel like opening too many apps right now because they're all going to expose me. So I'll be back in a couple of weeks or whatever and give you my full thoughts. So it's been a little bit under 2 weeks since I got this and recorded that first bit. And I've had a lot of time to kind of get to know this device a little bit more. So, first thing I want to start off with is going through the included Lenovo software, which is called Lenovo Vantage. And this is basically where you can take a look at some of your warranty, your device health, update some drivers and that kind of stuff. But the main thing I like to do in here is go to the power settings. Here you can do a lot of really powerful things. So first off, they have conservation mode, which basically means the laptop will only charge itself to around 50 to 60% to like keep your battery healthy if you're just plugging in. Rapid charge is where it just like fast charges your laptop, kind of like phones these days where they have the super fast charging. Power smart settings is where this basically changes how much power the device uses and its performance. Whoa. It's kind of the same thing in Windows. So most of the time when I'm plugged in, I just do best performance in Windows and extreme performance in Vantage. And if I'm not plugged in and not doing any gaming, I will usually go in intelligent cooling and just unplug this and kind of go to the better battery section. But that's only when I'm not plugged in. And then there's a couple of other power settings. Flip to start is when you open the lid. It'll turn the computer on automatically. Always on USB. This was really useful for when I went on a trip. Actually, I came back from that trip yesterday, where I brought a bunch of chargers, but there wasn't really places to plug them in, so I just used this to charge up my earbuds and my phone with a Type-C cable. That was really useful. It's got this toolbar, which I kind of just keep open because it's useful. You can change between rapid and conservation. You can turn off the mic and turn it on. You can turn the camera on and off, even though there's a shutter over here. There's some Wi-Fi things, the cooling, and some audio. Or not audio, some keyboard things. So, that's that thing. Let's look at some of these specs in depth. So I have GPU-Z and CPU-Z installed. Oh, there we go. GPU-Z starting up. And CPU-Z. Okay. So for the processor itself, it's, as I said before, Ryzen 5 5500U, 7 nanometer because it's Ryzen 5000, even though it's only Zen 2. Still pretty powerful. It's basically a rebranded 4600U, though it is a big upgrade over the 4500U because it's 8-core or 6-core 12-thread instead of 6-core 6-thread. For the graphics, we have Radeon graphics. They're also 7 nanometer. They have DX12 support, which is great. And I think I have mine set up to use around 2 gigs of VRAM. Or RAM just to use as VRAM. With something like this, you would definitely want to upgrade the RAM. I'm looking into that. But this kind of was a little bit expensive already. So I'll do that later, I think. And the GPU is pretty good. I've actually installed Dolphin on this. And I've been playing some Mario Kart Wii. Funny enough, I haven't really played Mario Kart Wii ever. So I was just trying it out on PlayStation controllers. It was quite fun, and it ran pretty well. There was the occasional hitch. But for the most part, it was fun. GameCube emulation was pretty good. Pretty flawless as well. I've also been playing a couple of Steam games. So Balloons DD6, not a hard one to run. The Expendables, also not a very hard one to run. I haven't actually played I played a little bit of Mortal Kombat, and it was pretty fine. Low settings, however, but 1080p, so it looked fine. Left 4 Dead 2 ran completely okay. Some of these other games I don't actually have installed here. And then I played a little bit of Rocket League. That ran okay. So that's kind of performance things. If you want more in-depth, I've seen a video on ETA Prime's channel. He goes very in-depth on like emulation and gaming performance. That's mainly why I got this, because of his review. So let's just go into kind of the general usability of this laptop. Maybe. Okay, so if we just go to Lenovo.com, and so web browsing is pretty snappy, and just search up Ideapad 3 AMD. Should be one of these. Yeah, this one I think. Yep. And we could just go into specs. Not those ones. But the ports. Okay, here we go. So we have a USB 3.2 Gen 1, so that's 5 gigabits. That's Type-C, so that's on the left side. There's a USB-A 3.2 Gen 1 on the right side. A USB-A 2.0 on the left side. A headphone mic combo jack on the left side. HDMI on the left side and a full-size SD card reader on the right side. So those are the ports. Quite nice. We can go over this keyboard now, because this is a little bit interesting. Here we go. Okay, so it's got a full-size numpad with your num lock, your slash, asterisk, full numpad. You've got your mostly full-size layout here. It has a function key because a bunch of these function keys actually have functions, like secondary functions. So these are like audio, and by default they actually control the like actual system. But if you hold function and press escape, that enables function lock, which makes it so if I press F5 it'll refresh this. If I do it properly. Here we go. Refresh the page. Usually I like keeping it off though. And then if we take a closer look at the arrows, you can see that they have secondary functions. So the arrow up and down have page up and down respectively. This end and home. And then on the numpad there's also secondary functions on some of the numbers. Well, usually I like to keep numlock on so that it doesn't keep doing these. So it's basically a full-size layout because there's delete up here, this print, scan, insert, just with a couple of function layers, but that's no problem. The fingerprint sensor is very fast and it has a little bit of caching, so if it's completely shut off and you just press it, you'll have to hold your finger down again for Windows Hello. But if it's kind of just waking up from sleep, you can just tap it and it'll cache it, and once it boots into Windows properly, it'll just sign you right in for the most part. The finish, I don't know if you can see, I think you can a little bit on camera. Let me just shine the light here. It's quite fingerprinty, like collects oils very quickly. It's a nice looking finish, but just collects finger oils too quick. And brushed aluminum, same on the kind of inside, collects too many fingerprints too quickly. Same brushed aluminum looking plastic. And this kind of feels like metal, but I kind of doubt that. The touchpad is plastic, smooth. Sometimes it gets a little bit of jitter, but for the most part it's fine. In the first bit, I said that I didn't like the fact that I had a touchscreen. Well, I've been using it for like a week or two, and it's really grown on me. Just using the touchscreen is natural. So I'm just typing away, and then I go scroll, and then find something, click. It's really natural. But a little bit disappointed that it doesn't 2-in-1, but probably wouldn't use that much anyway. It worked pretty good for media consumption. Like the 5400 RPM hard drive wasn't a bottleneck at all. So I used Plex and I downloaded a bunch of movies. And Plex is kind of weird where it only downloads the movies to your C drive, so I had to do kind of like a weird rerouting thing through Windows. And now it's all on my D drive and there was no hitching. It was at full 1080p quality. Playing games off of this hard drive is completely fine. No hitching, no nothing because of that. So the hard drive's fine as long as you don't actually install any operating systems to it. Because as soon as you do that, you'll be like dying and begging to go on like a 2012 MacBook Pro and slam like a $20 SSD in there. At least that's my guess. I never tried it and I don't really want to try it. Sounds like a nightmare. But for mass storage, the hard drive's fine. And you can also upgrade it, because it's just SATA 3, I think. So you could just put, like, a Crucial MX500 or something in there. Kingston A400. So this has been pretty good. The Wi-Fi is Wi-Fi 6, as I might have said in the beginning. So it's pretty reliable. And pretty fast. Like, fast enough for daily usage. The Bluetooth is 5.0, so it worked really good with my earbuds. The Soundcore Life P3s, which I did a review on like a month ago, maybe? I brought those, and it was great watching content and playing games. So, we can just take one more look at this. We can move on to the memory again. I'm not actually sure it shows here. So the memory runs at 3200 megahertz, which is good for Ryzen, really good for Ryzen. I have a Ryzen desktop with a 2600, and it's not great because I bought 3200 megahertz G-Skill RAM, but it doesn't actually clock up to that. Even though my motherboard supports it, I keep getting blue screens. So I'm probably losing a bunch of performance because I'm only stuck at 2400. I can't even do 2666 or whatever. So yeah, it's 8 gigs. It says memory usage is 6 gigs. That's because 2 gigs of that is actually reserved for the GPU. Might say here somewhere. Yeah, so dedicated GPU memory, 2 gigabytes. 3200 megahertz, pretty fast. I would recommend upgrading this to like 12 gigs at least. I'm probably going to upgrade this to 20 gigs with a 116 gig stick. But if I'm going to do that, I'm going to find a 3200 megahertz stick for like 100 Canadian bucks. But yeah, this is my new laptop I'm going to be using. It's pretty good. I do play a lot of games and do a lot of kind of ish intensive things like video editing and photo manipulation. I actually created that background you saw before. Not on this one, but I'm pretty sure it would run fine. I've tested some things in Inkscape and they ran fine, so I assume that would be fine. Vector design, and probably some light video editing and photo editing. Even a little bit intenser, more intense stuff. But yeah, that's the Lenovo Ideapad 3 that I have. So I hope you guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a comment and like and hit that subscribe button. If you didn't, the other button works okay. And I'll see you next time.